So let's see about the changes here going into draft. There are still some decent priority picks up. Very, very quick bans as we're sticking with the Silas and the Annie-Lucian double combo.
The big difference in this game, though, since Shopify lost the last one, they're electing to go to the red side this time around. So red side priority pretty high here in this series. The Lucian remains banned away from B-Boy. The Annie that they've already banned before here for the red Cannids. But now that they're on blue, they're leaving the Azir open. That's kind of hinting to me that they want to lock it in. They're daring Shopify to ban it instead. Jace also banned out here. The Silas and Wukong remain perma-bans here in the first rotation for Shopify, no matter which side they're playing on.
Yeah, I like your call out on the Azir. They're going to leave it up. Palafox always has something to answer whatever a meta pick would be. Kaze also did play the Azir 3 times in Split 3, has lost all 3 of those games.
Ooh, and it did get nerfed as well on this patch again. I still think, obviously, in pro play, it's definitely a very good inverse style pick, but the priority taken down a wee bit. Blind pick Gnar here. Okay, Fudge, how are we going to punish a blind pick Gnar?
Well, let's see, because last game, game number 2, both solo lanes for red Cannids were just slamming their northern counterparts.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things that'll definitely give the South fans a lot of hope is how...
That's a dangerous one.
Kaze's been crushing Palafox. He's not doing this. He's not playing the Aurelia.
Are you? Okay,
Sure.
Okay. I mean, it's just so much more risky to go like an Aurelia or Yasuo counterpick.
Well, especially this early in the draft. Like, if you see the whole comp, maybe. But if you pick it and they just throw in a Maokai jungle or something, you're just cooked.
Yeah.
Well, hey, there's the Azir.
Okay.
Yeah, we got the Azir that we were expecting, although not on the side that I was expecting it for, but Shopify are going to lock that one in, put Palafox on the Azir, hope that he can make some big plays on that one, find the angles for the shuffles. Over on the other side, though, Taliyah is another one of those picks that we usually see higher priority on early on when she has a lot of really good combos in the jungle to set up her ganks, her seismic shoves, but we will see her locked in here for this 3rd game for red Cannids.
Okay, so are they going to drop the Vi then as well? Because AD jungle at the moment is priority, with a lot taken off the board.
Vi seems really good.
Vi combos super well with Taliyah, so I would think that they would want to grab it first, but
give you a Sejuani.
They're going to go more tanky front line instead.
I'm quite surprised, actually, that Doom is picking the Sejuani in this angle rather than the Vi. It doesn't look like he has many games on it. He's played so many different champions, but he's 0-2 on Sejuani here in Split 3. Not to mention Poppy being unbanned, and I think one of Contract's best picks when we've seen him have some big games in the past.
Yeah, in the first couple of games, remember the Poppy was a first-round ban for red Cannids when they were drafting from the red side. It does end up getting through here this time, and Shopify Rebellion will lock that in, again, most likely for Contracts. And if it is for Contracts, as long as this isn't a flex to like a support Poppy or something, this will be the 3rd game in a row where both teams use the first half of the draft to pick their solo laners plus jungler, completely letting priority on AD carries and supports slide to the second half.
All right, taking away some of the stacking options here too. The Senna definitely would be a problem on the bottom side. So what do they actually want to fight back with?
Yeah, I just want to quickly call out, though, with the Poppy as well, that it was not played much by Contracts, but that's because it's the most banned champion against Shopify for all of Split 3. So this is definitely, I think it's an interesting choice by Red. They've been giving through some of the bigger power picks to Shopify. They gave the Yone away in Game 1 to Palafox, and here Poppy in Game 2. And to answer your question, Kobe, I don't necessarily know. Lucian has been banned in all of the games against B-Boy. He's not really been allowed to play it. So.
I mean, there's good reason for that.
Yeah, good.
You know, he has definitely been exceptional on the Lucian, and so I kind of respect that. You know, plus like the Silas should just be perma-banned for the entire series.
Might be Sivir time.
Opposite teams.
Might be Sivir time for Shopify.
We'll see if red Cannids has the same read. Nope, they are going to continue maintaining the ban pressure on the Alistar. This champion has been banned out in the second half of draft, all 3 games so far in this series. Him alongside that Braum for powerful defensive supports. Senna and Ezreal banned out as marksmen.
I think they need Seos on like what, Leona or like Nautilus. Either of those decent priority. Since both of them are up, I guess they don't really care, so grab the Sivir first. Secure your wave clear, secure your scaling. Whenever you have the double Shurima scaling with Sivir and Azir, they feel like pretty confident in going for their front-to-back team fight.
This is a much more standard front-to-back team fighting comp from Shopify. The game 2, we're going to be cute with split push, then they fell behind early, couldn't make creative plays to come back in the game. Now they have that scaling Sivir and Azir to keep the waves pushed the entire game. Interesting Ashe pick, though.
They see your double Shurima, Kobe, and they raise you double Freljord over here from the Red Canids. So plenty of lockdown and CC between Sejuani and the Ashe. And now we'll see what they want to pair with Rebello's Ashe here in the bot lane.
And Ashe definitely is a strong lane here into the Sivir. So with double Freljord, you get a lot of CC. You get a lot of ability to force these fights. And if we've seen them trying to set the pace of being extremely bloody here, then that very well could continue. Okay, the Seraphine plus Ashe combination. This one is such a powerful lane. You get the Ashe slows into the Seraphine, rooting them, and you have tremendous ultimates for team fights. Lots of CC for later.
It's a really good scaling pick, and it's them adapting to the patch as well. Ashe did get AD growth buffed on this patch, has been fairly absent from the meta, but then just kind of almost seeming forcing Seos onto the Karma here, not wanting to play a melee into that double range lane and get pushed in the entire time. I'm a little bit scared of the Seraphine if you know how to pilot it for Frosty.
It's such a powerful team fight battery with all of the healing, all of the shielding that you get from it. The ability, especially when you have this front line that wants to jump in there like the Gnar and the Sejuani, that you can use to shoot your Encore through and get that huge range engage coming out from it as well, can be very, very powerful. On the other side, though, Shopify Rebellion are doing their cardio. Between Mantra Ease and Sivir Ultimates, there's a lot of run-fast potential coming out of this team.
I think Contracts here is going to have to be a big difference maker. Poppy Ultimate can provide so much value if you're able to get a good one around these objectives. And since we've had so much team fighting, if you just even eject one person, it seems like everybody else is already committed to these fights, and so they're still going to be able to go through with it.
And one thing we always look at for Poppy is how much value does the Poppy player get out of Steadfast Presence? Seraphine, Ashe, and Taliyah do not have movement abilities that can be blocked by Steadfast Presence. However, Gnar and Sejuani both have pretty easily readable engages through Arctic Assault and through the Hop/Crunch that can be denied by that. And since that's the front line, those are those big engage mechanisms that either go in themselves or facilitate Seraphine being able to use her ult. Contracts stopping those in their tracks could be huge. I am expecting a lot more team fighting, a lot more PvP, and a lot more kills here in Game 3.
Yeah, I'm looking for Shopify to bounce back because Game 2 was a big disappointment based on what we'd seen so far this weekend in North versus South. I do feel like early game, though, we are already in, and they have been pushed off once again at level 1. Red having strong level 1 plays in both games 2 and 3.
They really want to keep track of Contracts' early pathing. Whenever you see Contracts on this Poppy especially, he does like to go for a lot of early ganks and not necessarily do full clears before looking for his opportunities. I would expect, though, with these lanes, he will do full clear and not look to drop anything early, remain efficient.
One thing to make a note of here very early on, because both of these teams are running ranged supports who want to really battle for that lane priority and supremacy, we are not going to see any of the summoner spellbooks that have been so common with the melee engage style supports. Instead, both opting for the Aerie, for the extra trading power here early on in the lane to try to maintain control.
Yeah, B-Boy also pulling out this Sivir. He's got a good record on it overall, seeing if he can make some big things happen in this game. And to talk more about that, Kangas is standing by with Coach Revan.
Thank you very much. I have Coach Revan here as we're watching already almost a first blood come in here for Red. I want to get your first thoughts on how that level 1 went.
Pretty damn terrible, but it should be all fine. It's not like the end of the world. I just hope the players don't feel like desperate or you need to do something fast, because I think both teams just stylistically have that a little bit. So just taking care of that, I think, is probably going to be the win con for both teams.
You mentioned the style of Red Canids. You used to coach for a Brazilian team before you came to North America. So based on your experience with Brazilian players, how do you feel Red are performing to your expectations?
Pretty good, honestly. As far as I know, I think they're mid jungle and AD are really new. Top's their biggest veteran. Support is kind of, I think he's on year 2 or 3. But they had their like a roster change in between split 2 and 3, and then they still somehow made it to cross-conference finals. So really big ups to them, honestly.
All right, well, it looks like the players are ready for action already on the rip, so we're going to let you get backstage, throw back to the casters.
Continue fighting! We got 3 camp ganks as well for both mid laners blowing their flashes here. Both junglers doing the 3 camp gank, passing through mid lane with their red buffs. And both of them are pretty low on mana too, so.
How did Revan sound so calm during all of that? B-Boy gets pushed back to base on 0 CS, and then mid lane becomes an absolute 2v2 brawl, but no kills yet.
Yeah, they went for that trade when it was like both of red members just positioned right next to B-Boy, and he was just like tanking all of the damage and forced to blow both summoners. In addition to being forced back, not having flash or cleanse on the Sivir here is really a big deal, especially because you know, the wave, of course, is going to push back out afterwards. But since they saw Sejuani with red buff gank mid, they know Sejuani did a 3 camp, her bottom side 3 camps, then ganked mid and crossed. So they knew, okay, well, at least the Sejuani's not coming down here within the next minute.
Push.
We, you know, we've got our time. Push it in, bounce it back, and you know, hopefully they can stay safe. They're double warding here for the river and the Tribush to make sure that they can remain safe. Contracts though does get interrupted after his clear on this.
And the one thing I do want to mention about the 2v2 that we saw in mid, Contract's the only one of those 4 that still has, topside Fudge in some danger. FNB needs a little more damage, but just can't get that last auto attack that would have procced the Hyper there for the first blood. Contract still has his flash. That's what I was trying to say, but we're going to get more PvP, so I have to say it fast.
Yeah, and FNB is having another amazing game. Is Gnar. He's pushing in this Aatrox, blows Fudge's flash by himself here. Bottom side.
B-Boy trying to fire back at Rebello here. Nice root coming in from Seos, but Rebello still safe enough. He and Frosty running a little bit low on HP. Nice mantra Q coming in from Seos to continue chipping away at that healing and shielding.
Yeah, both holding flashes. Really want to be able to push this wave in as Sejuani is arriving. Might be looking for a play if Shopify try and freeze this wave on them.
Okay, Doom's going to start his Krug camp, but now go for the gank instead. Will walk over a ward. Shopify should be aware of what's going on here. Boomerang Blade flies out, doesn't find a single target to connect on, and they know that Doom is going to be pathing up through this Tri-Brush. So Shopify Rebellion, step back.
Yeah, good job by them not stepping back too early. Doom, though, is going to circle around and Q out the back of the Dragon Pit, so Contracts is still going to come on down and check around and sniff.
These guys are just trading so aggressive.
Teos, the minions are still on him, too.
He's got 40 health. He's running pretty low there.
No
the heal is mandatory to keep him alive. Contracts wanted to try to flash for the wall slam there on Frosty. Not quite enough distance to make it work, so Frosty stays alive. Contracts loses his flash and about half of his health. Still no first blood for either team somehow.
But they want to have it happen. I think both teams
really bad.
You know, whether it's them or the other guy, I feel like they don't care. They're just fist fighting. I gotta call out FNB though. How good has this guy been? The York game is insane. The confidence to first pick Gnar and then immediately burn the flash from Fudge. Having that top lane push pretty much the entire early game. Really impressed with him so far.
Doom sliding in here, looking for the gank on Palafox. Will not have enough time to stack up the E for the stun. And still only at the beginning of level 5, so no Glacial Prison available for that one either. But yeah, going back to the topic of FNB, especially considering game number 1, Fudge got the better of him in the Aurora versus Rumble matchup. And we talked about how at the beginning of the day, the feeling for a lot of the Brazilian teams and players is they're so confidence-based. When they're feeling it, they're feeling good, and they'll play so much better. So for FNB to have a bad game 1 and then bounce back so powerfully, impressive stuff.
Yeah, I think both the solo laners have got to be feeling really good because Kaze, again, pushes in another wave. They lose more minions mid for Shopify, but they're going for another attack. No flash on Frosty.
Yeah, Frosty might just get rooted up here by the Karma. B-Boy and Seos continuing to push forward. Contracts coming in behind them, but not enough damage to kill off the Seraphine through, again, all that powerful shielding and healing, plus the extra damage at the very end through the Focus Fire, and the High Note means that Seos also takes a considerable chunk of damage himself.
Yeah, there's still this big wave pushing for into them, so Shopify want to go back and collect it. They don't want to over chase too much on through the Tri-Brush. And everybody really seems on edge in this game.
I am also on edge. The players feel that way as well. I'd say a good recovery by B-Boy and Seos after what happened at level 1, having to go back to base before getting a single minion. And again, these junglers seem like they're just always ready to pounce.
So, I mean, Sejuani with level 6 for sure should be looking to punish again, but it has been enough time since the first gank for the flashes to come back for mid lane. So, even though Doom is hovering around mid lane, there is a ward on him, plus there's a lot of mobility in the Azir. They now make the swap call, so Sivir can just wave clear in mid lane while they send Palafox bottom, and with these grubs at least started up by Doom.
Yeah, but Fudge and Seos are both wrapping around to try to punish the Red Canids jungler here. He can just Arctic Assault to get away from the tether.
Okay, but another wave is going to get pushed in on top side because FNB still has top lane priority, so that wave has to be answered by Fudge. So Fudge isn't here now. That was a necessary flash because during that numbers disadvantage and Ash Arrow hitting,
Nice potential play here from Palafox. He gets the shuffle on Kaze, but not enough damage to follow it up and really threaten anything lethal. Shopify Rebellion still trying to jockey for position over these grubs as Doom and FNB have to evacuate the area. Contract still on the approach here, but it's already 2 grubs for Red Canids, so Shopify Rebellion are only going to get a consolation grub.
Yeah, I think mission successful again by Red. They've been able to take the majority of the grubs in every single game, and again, their solo laners are just flat out performing. That was a nice play by Palafox to win a trade, but FNB's had constant prio in this top lane. They're really just showing us their mechanics in the early game of all 3 of these games.
Bella will get this pushed out here mid lane with that Ashe. Frosty staying next to him with the Seraphine just to make sure that he can keep pushing this up at no vulnerability to a potential play from Shopify. TP coming in now to this bottom lane just puts Kaze right back in the 1v1 against Palafox where he was. Palafox still having his own teleport ready to use, and you can see top laner teleport timers also desynced right now. Fudge has his available if they want to try to make some kind of a play with it. The first Drake of the game is still up. FNB still has a bit of the timer left on his own cooldown, so he would not be able to follow.
Yeah, but he earns a turret plate himself as well. He's continuing to get paid. Will be another rich top laner here. This time around on Gnar, not quite. Wait a second, are we gonna get any fight over this crab? Contracts is there.
We might just get a fight. Instead, we get a slam into the wall from Contracts. Potential follow-up tether, but no, Arctic Assault denies the lockup, the root on that one. And I just want to mention, last game, Fudge first picks the Ambessa. The Yorick is the counter pick, so I can at least give the cope take of, yeah, it was a counter pick, that's why it went so bad. This time around, FNB first pick on the Gnar as Palafox gets caught out by Kaze. Nice use of the seismic shove there, forcing out the flash from the Shopify mid laner. And Red Canids solo laners keep the pressure on.
Shopify had just called to do Dragon too. You see they brought Fudge all the way down. Fudge had been walking and Contracts was taking the tower, but now with no flash on the Azir and the Azir being chunked at 50%, they say, never mind, we got to call it off. Keep in mind what Revan said. He wanted them to remain calm in the early games and look for some scaling options for themselves, but they call off their Dragon play and Palafox gets...
Oh, Palafox with the lazy recall, and Kaze is ready to show him that sloth is a deadly sin. Palafox wants to get away from it, but Kaze picks up an easy first blood.
At least he calmly took the cannon after getting calmly caught by his lazy recall. So I'm not sure. Like this is really stressful at the moment with how Red has just been crushing the solo laners so far. They lost so much tempo in this last play, but maybe they can get this consolation Drake.
So Palafox though does have teleport, so that's why Red are backing off now. Even though they kill Palafox under turret there, they know that he can return with teleport, whereas Kaze does have to go recall. And so in the end, Shopify do get the Dragon as a consolation prize for themselves. And if you're looking at trying to slow down, if you're looking at trying to scale your Sivir and your Azir, having a Dragon does go a long way in doing that, kind of buying you the timer, allowing you to choose which future Dragon fights you actually have to take or not.
But Kobe, how much of a timer do you get when both of your solo laners are again just getting slammed? For Shopify, they're down 20, 25 CS up there in the top lane. They're down almost 20 CS in the mid lane. It's a few hundred gold for both of the Red Canids solo laners up over their Shopify counterparts. Again.
Yeah, they have really been dominating. FNB going to catch this big wave in the bottom side as well. Experience advantages across the board. And we did call out in game one. I want to kind of call it out again. In their respective conferences, Kaze was crushing early game laning phase. First in the league, gold difference at 14, plus 448. Palafox 7th amongst the mid laners here in the North, and we're seeing that play out in almost all of these games. Kaze is getting a significant lead onto Palafox in all of these early games.
Meanwhile, the farming in mid lane here. Yuntal's for B-Voy completed pretty early, so he's going to try and stack that up while farming safely in mid lane. But attack on side here with Sejuani once again coming down. For now, just be the Gromp. And they're going to allow him some peace and calm to farm under tower while they take away the Gromp for the moment. But contracts coming down here, that means that the Poppy's going to be here. Know that the Gromp is stolen. There is no Wolf camp, no Gromp camp for him here. So this is not very valuable time.
It was a perfect 0 gold difference between the junglers there for just a second before that ward got killed. It's always interesting to see how that works out to just happen to be the exact same amount of gold. But we do have the Rift Herald spawning here in about 90 seconds. I do expect this to be a fight. I can hardly believe there's only 1 kill on the board 13.5 minutes into this game with how many attempts have been made by both sides.
But Red is just slowly winning through the laning phase. They don't have extremely strong initiation. They have a long range comp. They have double ranged bottom lane. They're slowly winning top mid. I'd say the bot lane has been able to push. So aside from not getting the first objective, that would be the big hiccup in this plan, is because you want to really stack Drakes with a team comp like this and force the other team to come into you. But I think their game plan can't be to force a bunch of fights with this team comp. And even the Sivir into the Ashe right there, they just block the Ashe arrow.
Yeah, nice block on the arrow, but now Seos takes some damage back. B-Boy continuing to trade with Rebello and Frosty. Shopify were winning the 2v2 trade back and forth there, but with Doom showing up, it means the fight has to end.
Yeah, Red have a lot of very good kind of safe attempts at engage with Ashe Arrow and Sejuani Ultimate. And then if one of them hits, then they can follow up with the rest of the kit, you know, with the Seraphine ultimate as well as the Gnar jumping in. But they can fish. They can kind of afford to fish around at objectives. Here we go, bottom side.
Yeah, Fudge going in for the World Ender here after Kaze, who just immediately uses Weaver's Wall to create enough distance to get away from the attempt from the Shopify top laner. Fudge is still looking for a little bit more. Not going to land the Infernal Chains. Wants to flash for the Q2, but he misses the sweet spot. Won't matter. Q3 gets it done with Contracts swooping in to help. Shopify Rebellion are on the board.
Yeah, Contracts can guarantee that it'll hit the sweet spot of the last one there. Does get the knock into the wall. That means that they see him bottom and start up the Rift Herald immediately, though.
Yep, another potential objective here for Red Canids Kalunga and for Doom. Remember that they've already got 2 out of 3 grubs, so getting this next neutral will bring them that much closer to feats of strength.
Rift Herald takes a very long time to take, though, so Contracts definitely has time to walk all the way over and still has his Poppy ultimate.
I think they're just going to give this in soft contested. Fudge was hoping to get the turret there, but the teleport's actually going to push him off as well. So a fairly free Rift Herald take there by Red. They're playing pretty calm.
It's also so dangerous for Shopify to try to go any closer than that because you don't have the Sivir ulti available any longer either because of the trade 2v2 in mid lane, using that as one of the resources. FNB jumping back as Palafox surges towards him. FNB does not want to be caught out by one of those Emperor's Divides, as now Kaze is back in position down here in the bottom lane, keeping the pressure on, wants to secure this first turret, and it's getting very low.
Nice, couple of jukes there are necessary from Fudge, because again, he used his flash offensively to go for that last kill onto Kaze, so Kaze is going to win out in the pressure in that one-on-one in bottom side. Fudge does have teleport options here. Looks like Kaze is going to get another cannon wave in, though, and
probably
just finish it himself.
Yeah, this should be very easy for him to do. Got the 2 grubs already to guarantee the extra true damage over time. Now FNB going to get shuffled back. Contracts, Palafox, and Seos trying to make the play, but it's a Mega Gnar. They just don't have anywhere near enough damage to complete this kill.
Yeah, probably just trying to chunk him out or get his flash so they can make a repeat play later or pressure this turret. They're still going to try and just step right back up, but with Frosty here, I doubt they'll be able to get much more.
Yeah, Seraphine makes these types of situations so obnoxious, just constantly healing and shielding whoever is the main defender underneath the turret. Palafox, Contracts, and Seos all still hanging around the area, but that was Palafox and Contracts' ults to not get anything super meaningful against FNB, and Red Canids at the same time are now going to secure themselves their first Drake of the game as this Infernal spawns and Doom and Kaze are immediately ready to take it.
Yeah, we'll see how much damage they actually do on that top tower, because they did, as you say, invest a lot in damaging FNB, and they aren't going to be able to finish it.
Nope.
Well, there he is. He's already back in time. Palafox will continue trying to get those auto attacks for a little bit more here. Might just be able to get it, and there it does go. Shopify Rebellion will at least get the turret for their troubles.
And you saw the combo as well. We got to see the interaction with Poppy and Azir putting up the ultimate, getting the charge into the wall, ultimate as well. Of course, didn't even get really close to lethal damage, but
Mega Gnar's pretty tough.
Yeah, they gave him a chunk, and they take their tower. So again, they're looking to keep that gold fairly close, looking for the 2 items at least on both Sivir and Azir.
They're really fishing for a play here in mid lane.
B-Boy popping the on the hunt to try to get away from this one. Fires a couple auto attacks back. The threat of doom with this Glacial Prison, man, always so scary, but B-Boy is comfortable and calm.
Yeah, that threat, though, gets a whole Sivir ultimate out of them for free.
And now the arrow collides, but it's on to Seos. There's no way to spell shield that one. Nice pick coming out from Red Cannids. Rebello locks it in with the aim.
The double Freljord engage, even though you spell shield the Sejuani ult, Ash one does hit. Contracts, ooh, dangerous on the outside.
Yep, but at least this will buy Shopify's top laner time to take the tier 1 turret in the bottom lane. Fudge getting that one as Palafox shuffles Doom back away. Here comes the Weaver's Wall. Palafox makes his way to the other side of it, and B-Boy has to flash to do the same. Herald summoned up, but not getting a ton of value here in this tier 1, as that one will get shot down. And Red Cannids now looking at the enemy jungle.
Oh man, this game is so stressful. Red really putting a lot of pressure on Shopify to respond here. Herald mid, going for picks on a Palafox. Shopify just seemingly surviving and keeping this gold very close, but so much of the pressure is being applied by Red.
Yeah, good use, again, of the non-committal engage that they have. They went through just with their threat. They get out the Sivir ultimate, so that speed for dodging won't be there. Then they use the Sejuani and the Ash arrow. Contracts, though, finds a Sejuani protecting her own jungle and has to get out of there.
All right, he's out. Otacon's coming up in 40 seconds. So I just need a second to preemptively cope.
Okay.
This has just been on my mind.
What are we coping?
The Shopify pisses me off.
Okay.
Because the whole...
That's cope? Wait, what?
No, let
him cook, let him
You're eating into my 40 seconds. So, the whole year, they have started splits so bad and then clutched up at the end. But if I look, there's a fight, around of time.
Yeah, we might not have time. I'm sorry. There was not enough timer on the cope as Palafox flashes away from the Glacial Prison. Nice seismic shove there onto Contracts. Going to take a chunk of his HP, but again, Red Cannids nowhere close to a lethal situation. They will force Shopify back.
All right, 2 seconds. Until Otacon, they have only won 41% of their games the entire year, yet they are the 3rd best team because of their ability to clutch up. But my fear is that they just won't be able to clutch up when it matters in this North versus South game. So that's my preemptive cope. But with that being said, they have actually clutched up to get into this position. Split 2, they had a really bad positioning phase, but they clutched up in the later group stage. They beat 100 Thieves, they made a run. They ended up in finals weekend, and then they're also in finals weekend for split 3. So they need to clutch up here so they can not get reverse swept essentially by Red.
So what it sounds like is that you want to cope, but you're not going to do it because you don't think that they will clutch up in the right time?
Based on the way this game is going, Red looks so good, and it feels like Shopify hasn't been able to win their solo lanes, so they'll need to clutch up and out-team fight Red, which isn't a situation you love being in as a region, the North, that comes in as a big favorite.
Put it to the test, Flowers.
Yep, we're going to have to do it. We'll see if Shopify can channel that 100 Thieves team fighting when you're 2,000 gold behind Magic. Because honestly, that's what they're going to have to do here. Red Cannids, they do still have a small lead in Flower Petals. They've got the 1,500 gold lead as well. We still have not secured the feats of warfare, but they weren't even required because the feat of turret and the feat of objectives both went to Red Cannids. There's only 3 kills in 21 minutes.
All 3 games, the feats have gone over to Red because they have just straight up won these early games. Game 1, definitely a bloodbath. Shopify won the split push. Game 2, total stomp. This is definitely our closest game of the bunch.
And I think your tension is warranted because there are so many tools within the Red team composition that they have to pick people off. So you're kind of just waiting until they do get their pick on someone with either an Ash arrow, with a Sejuani ultimate, with a Talia seismic shove. Anything can, find one person, and then they follow it up with the Seraphine. And so it does require some good positioning from Shopify to actually be able to approach the objectives without somebody getting picked off.
And we got some big second items coming online. Sterix Gauge just completed for FNB as Palafox is going to get caught out, but a nice defensive shuffle keeps him alive a little bit longer. Frosty needs some more damage, but the Encore will not lock Palafox up. Doom and everybody else turning their eyes onto contracts now as Palafox is somehow still alive, but the Red Cannids are dogpiling into the jungle. Fudge finally makes his way in with a World Ender as B-Boy needs the auto attacks. Fudge is locked up, and he can't drain tank, and a double kill for the Talia. Kaze again with the performances here. Red Cannids, they get a 3-for-1.
Kaze is so good. The flash over the wall. He avoids the Aatrox to survive and ensure that they can take the Otacon after the fight. That's the pick that they were waiting for.
And they had so much pressure, so as soon as they can see Palafox hitting this ward, Doom uses that as an opportunity to let the ultimate fly. And they also have to have so much time before the Aatrox can teleport in. With the Ashe Seraphine, they just walk forward as best they can. Really interesting moment here where it looked like Fudge might be able to take it back, but they land the Sejuani CC, they flip him around, and Kaze cleans up.
Nice escape from him. He flashes over to escape and hits his seismic shove as he's going away there. So Red, with the Otacon on top of the early lead, have Damonte mega stressed.
Those aren't the Damonte vibes I want to see.
No.
He's the vibes king, and he looks stressed out of his mind with the way this game is going.
The handles on that chair are suffering right now. He has a death grip on that thing. As Shopify Rebellion now find themselves 3,000 gold behind. Red Cannids firmly in control of this third game as they try to take control over the bottom side river right now. The next Drake has already spawned, and this is the strength that we were talking about earlier for this long-range composition. If Red can get to the objectives first, they can make Shopify face check them. Contracts getting caught out, dies before the fight can even go anywhere. The Keeper's verdict will not save him in time, and with the enemy jungler down, that dragon is free.
Again, the pick with this team is just so good. Ashe Arrow into guaranteed seismic shove follow-up, and instant another objective, another kill for Red.
Game 2 into Game 3, they have just looked very clean from that, what was it, 46 kill, 30-minute Game 1 that was just absolute chaos. They definitely managed to calm their nerves and play with confidence. They've been taking these solo lane advantages, and now they're just controlling the map very well. They're taking smart fights, and I'd say just their team fight positioning has been strong as well, because the front line is in the front. They're all piling in behind the Seraphine. We were wondering what kind of confidence they'd have playing with the Ashe Seraphine, since Frosty hadn't piloted the Seraphine prior to this game that I had seen, and they're doing great.
Uh-oh, Palafox, nice timing there on the Emperor's Divide to knock FNB backwards as he tried to hop forward. But Palafox is not out of the woods just yet. Kaze coming around through the jungle here with the Weaver's Wall, cuts off the escape route for the Shopify mid laner. He doesn't even need setup. That seismic shove finds the mark, and Kaze brings the Cannids up to a 4,000 gold lead.
I mean, Red just have the advantage in the standoff with the long-range engage they have, and they also are using their advantages in the side lanes. Okay, Seos does live this one for now.
Yep, the Mikhails was clutch there, but it's not enough to save the tier 1 turret here for Shopify. They're outnumbered, they're outgunned. As soon as 4 players from Red Cannids show up, Shopify has to back away and surrender the turret.
Shopify are just getting demolished, Flowers. Back-to-back games now. Red are destroying them. 25 minutes in here, almost 26, and their lead is substantial. Baron is now on the map, so they have plenty of tools to, again, force you to kind of come check around for vision around Baron, and then look for engages, look for turn with their substantial engage. And here again, the pickoff on the side, also really clean from Kaze once again.
Yeah, also notice that Kaze was, or FNB was 2 levels ahead of Palafox before that game happened. This is going to be a very satisfying game for the South to be watching right now, with Revolta reacting to that one. And they're just going to keep... There's no Mikhails.
It's another beautiful catch coming out from Red Cannids. The Glacial Prison finding the target on Deseos. He had the Mikhails to save himself with last time, but that cooldown's pretty long. And as long as that thing's not available, it is so easy for Sejuani to lock up those targets. And now with the enemy support down, Red Cannids will start up the Baron. They still have the Ashe Arrow. They still have the Encore. They still have Kaze ready and waiting. They continue pushing forward. The arrow doesn't find a target, but it doesn't even need to. Now with the enemy jungler killed, Red Cannids know it's Baron o'clock.
It's just the Ashe Seraphine Sejuani mob just running around, killing whoever they want, making this look easy. Contract's dead, Palafox dips. This Baron is going over to red.
Surely is. The only consolation prize is a minion wave on the bottom side of the map. Kaze will head on down there. He will be able to collect the push that Palafox is getting going here. And red, with a Baron buff, again, the siege is so easy for them. They can just group up, push down side lane once again. If you step out, you're going to get hit with a Sejuani or an Ashe arrow. You're going to get followed up with a seismic shove or a Seraphine ultimate. Someone is going to get picked and die, or they're just going to lay siege with the Baron buff, slowly but surely take down the towers.
We had a game one that was back and forth with less than a 1,000 gold lead either way for about 20 minutes with a bajillion kills. And now we've had a stomp of a game two into a stomp of a game three. Red Cannids are playing better so far on the day. And I think if you're a fan of Brazilian League of Legends, that is so exciting to see.
Yeah, especially because 3 of the members just promoted from their tier 2 team with Doom, Kaze, and Rebello. It's really nice to see such quick success for them.
Taking the momentum through. The predictions from the Brazilian casters, some of them saying 3-0 for red. Not too shocking unless, nice pick there by Contracts.
Yup, the flash over the wall for the slam there to pick off Frosty as he was trying to get some vision, but that is only the support. Shopify know there is still quite a long way to climb to get back into this one.
They have to create chaos. That is the only way you come back in games like this. You got to just create some chaos, get people spread out so that red can't play their game. Because if you allow them to group up and just move towards the towers, move towards their objectives, then they're going to have the front line positioned well, and they're going to send out their engage. So Contracts goes for the snap play, trying to get at least something back for the team.
Man, 7,000 gold. 29 minutes into the game, massive lead in terms of the flower petals as well for the side of the Red Cannids. It feels like we're at the point of the game where Red Cannids do have to make some pretty critical blunders for Shopify to have a chance to come back into this and keep fighting, because you've got a 1,000 gold lead in the jungle, a 1,000 gold lead at support, 3,000 gold in mid lane, and it's about to be even more. Palafox nearly getting caught out here. Flash out from him to avoid the follow-up flash engage potential from Doom there with the Glacial Prison. So Palafox stays alive, but again, they force the enemy mid back. They're putting the pressure onto the Drake.
Yeah, I think you should just make this call. Yeah, definitely correct for Shopify. They just go for...
Ooh, that's a long-range stun onto Fudge, followed up by Kaze. There with a seismic shove into the unraveled earth. Fudge wants to try to turn it around, but the problem is, here's FNB, and Fudge isn't gonna survive that one. It's the Drake over to Red Cannids. It's an extra kill over to Red Cannids.
Yeah, I mean, Shopify try and make the call. Okay, yeah, we're not gonna fight you. Yes, you're stronger than us. And so they try and make the call, just split push, take the outer tower, but the Ashe arrow from downtown actually hits. They get the kill for red on the split pusher, and now they're pushing into your jungle.
Yeah, Contracts has to be so careful here, man. This Poppy, this supposed frontliner for the side of Shopify Rebellion, has not been tanky enough to survive any of these big engages from the Red Canids Kalunga side, as now Kaze is going to lead the charge towards the tier 2 up here in the top lane. It's already an 8,000 gold lead for the South representatives, and it's about to get even worse for Shopify Rebellion. 8.6k at 31 minutes.
Yeah, the tail end of that Baron buff, very profitable for red. The Baron recalls, I think, surprised Fudge with how fast the soul laners were able to get there, but it's really just red continually playing a very controlled game, only having 3 deaths this entire time, with Contracts trying to run around and catch people, with Contracts having that 100% kill participation. But I'd also say, like, just the very end of this draft, the way that red threw in the Ashe Seraphine for the Sivir pick, that kind of forced Seos to feel like he had karma, I think takes away that snap engage that Shopify would need to force fights and create chaos, because they just don't have enough engage. And since red was able to win both solo lanes, they've just very cleanly played out the rest of this game so far.
B-Boy now the target, tries to get away from it, but Red Cannids are going full send. Kaze slammed back into the wall, though. This might be an overextension. He stays alive for a second longer, but he is shut down by Fudge. Shopify get a big kill on the enemy mid laner. Seos is very low. Palafox at half HP, so there's nothing more they can take.
The scramble in the fight there is good for Shopify. Kaze down, and he flashed. Is there a wraparound? Contracts?
Yeah, Contracts wants the Hex Splash over the wall. He arrives, but there's nothing for him to find. Instead, the firepower from Red Cannids. Contracts makes a fatal error, and Doom is happy to show him just that. 1-for-1 trade overall, as Red Cannids will also take the Tier 2 Turbine in the mid lane.
You can see Contracts just trying to make miracles happen, but it was not to be. Red, even though they were in a 4v5, still have so much strength as long as they're grouping up around this Moonstone Seraphine with the tank Sejuani and Bruiser Gnar.
Yeah, I mean, that was a Mega Gnar and a Sejuani, both at full health with a Seraphine behind them, buffing them up with the extra shield.
It's an interesting angle.
Nobody's getting bursted right there. The rest of Shopify, it's like they have an extra piece they need to be added to this team. If they're going to be able to make the big comeback here, they have to like all strike at once.
I feel like the only win con here for Shopify with the current state of the game is 45-minute Sivir win condition, right? B-Boy is still 2-0-1 on the Sivir. He's got himself 3.5 fully completed items. Fudge has to run away from F&B down here in this bottom lane head-to-head. It's just not working out for him.
They do have to like juke a lot of abilities. Like, yeah. So if you have your Sivir speed ultimate and they're able to use the speed to make a lot of spells miss, Ash Arrows and Sejuani ultimates. Okay, that one was spell shielded.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice reaction there from B-Boy, making sure he doesn't get caught out by that, because as soon as you get caught by one, the rest of the follow-up with the Encore, with the Glacial Prison, with everything else is just so nasty. And you can see Red are happy to just keep setting down vision in this enemy jungle, keep looking for these picks.
And as long as we're talking about it, like, what is the dream fight? Because it's probably some type of Azir shuffle into something insane.
Well, it's not this.
Start.
Contracts face check at the brush, nearly killed immediately, and Rebello takes him out with a focus fire. Palafox killed again with a nice seismic shove. Seos, he'll fall too. It's 4 dead on Shopify Rebellion. Only Fudge still alive, and Red Cannids are marching down the mid lane.
I'll tell you what the dream fight for Red is. It's when they face check you and you chase them down. 4 kills for Red and probably the whole base.
This looks like the end of the game. Fudge would have to pull off a miracle in a 1v5 as an Aatrox against a full health enemy team. The mid lane inhibitor drops. There's still more than 20 seconds left on everybody on Shopify Rebellion. The Ash Arrow hits, add insult to injury as Red Cannids show Shopify what some team fighting, what some picks look like. 16-4 in Game 3, Red Cannids go on to match point.